And we are joined by a very special guest on a special day, sitting down with Richie Incognito on a huge day for you, man. Congratulations. Officially hanging it up, retiring from the NFL after, candidly, man, a hell of a run. So I'll ask you this. We're sitting here in this building today on a beautiful Friday in Las Vegas. You had options and you could have decided to do this announcement in so many different ways, but you decided to do it here in Vegas, in silver and black. Why?
You know, it's just a family atmosphere here. I got to the Raiders in 2019, and I was just blown away about how tight this organization is, especially with alumni, current players, former players. I was born to be a Raider, and once I got here in 2019, it just galvanized and became more clear that I should have been here my entire career, but I took the long way here. And once I got here, Mr. Davis welcomed me with open arms. Mike Mayock was the GM, Coach Gruden. They let me come in and they let me be myself. They trusted in who I was. They plugged me in. They let me be a leader. And, I had 1 year on the field. I gave it all I had. And then the last 2 years have been more of a mentor and a coach. But I wanted to retire a Raider because just the love of the program. They gave me an opportunity, and I feel I have to repay the debt. And now it's about giving back to the guys on this roster, giving back to the guys on the staff, helping them win in any way possible. And it just felt like home from the get-go, and it's quite an accomplishment. I'm kind of taken aback today about this retirement and hanging them up.
I'm glad you brought up the Oakland experience, because we're going to talk about that in a sec. But I'm curious, when did you know? Like, when did it become clear? Like, all right, this is it. It's been a hell of a run, but it's time to go in the next chapter.
Well, you know what? I've been dealing with injuries the last 2 years. Some things that I've never dealt with. I've been a workhorse in the trenches for so long. I've kept my body clean. I kind of had a weird injury in 2020. I had a loose bone floating around in there that we didn't really know about. I was trying to play through it, missed that season. And then last year I came back and I hurt my calf real early in training camp. And it was one of those things where I kept pushing, I kept trying to rehab it, I kept trying to come back, and I kept injuring it. So I had re-injured it right before Thanksgiving, and it was the third time I had re-injured it last year. And I had to evaluate, what I wanted going forward. Do I want to rehab? Do I want to come back? Do I want to push it another year? I'm getting old. I've dealt with these two injuries. I've never had anything soft tissue, so the soft tissue injury kept getting worse and worse and worse. So I had a plan in place when I came back in 2019. I had a plan that, hey, it's either going to be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. But when I am done, I have a plan in place, and that plan is to go start working on my MBA, do some mentoring, coaching. So when the injury came about during the season, it was really tough. We were kind of taking some body blows at that time. We had a lot going on. I was going through my process. I was back home rehabbing, so I went through my process. I decided I was done. I was going to hang them up, and when I came back up for the late season run, we made that push, beat the Chargers, got into the playoffs. That's really where I had my mentor hat on, my coach hat on, getting all the guys on the same page, and ultimately just giving back. It was a tough decision. It was a lot of thinking that went into it, but once I made that decision, there was no going back on it.
And you talk about, kind of change the role, right? The more coaching, the more mentorship type of things. Was it hard to kind of get to that place of like, hey, this part of me, this, Richie Incognito as a player, that's done.
Right.
Was it hard to kind of flip the switch to go from player to kind of adjusting and understanding, hey, I still bring value here.
Right.
It's just in a different way.
You know what? Flipping that switch really wasn't that hard. I had the 2 years of injuries. It was always in the back of my mind, where are we at? We're in the final piece of this. We're in this last little push. So when I made the decision, it wasn't really that hard in my mind because I had a plan in place. I knew what I wanted to do next. So I made the decision, and then that's I think once you make the decision, then that's where the challenge is. That's when the thoughts creep in. That's when you're having conversations. That's when people are like, "Well, you're really done," and you're kind of going inside out. So it took me a good 2 or 3 weeks, and what the best thing for me to do was come back up here and be around the guys, be around my support system, be around the guys that when I was playing, getting up out of bed every day at 5:30 in the morning, coming here and grinding for. That's what I did it for. I did it for my brothers. So to have the setback with the injury, to make the decision, and then to come back up here to Las Vegas and watch the guys go on that run, and that was just grit, emotions. That was all heart for our guys, and to be there and to be in that mentor role and that coach role, it was really cool, and it was really good for me. It was kind of a good send off.
Now that we have a little bit of time, right? I know that the end of the season doesn't feel that far away, but now that we have a little space to kind of breathe in between the decision that you made and where we are now, how important was it for you to have that plan in place for what the next chapter of Richie was going to be like?
I mean, it was critical. It was critical to have that plan in place because I think that's what helped make flip the switch so easily. You know, obviously I love playing. I was passionate about it. I played as long as I could, but having that plan in place kind of gave me peace of mind moving forward. You know, when I was a young player, people would always ask, you know, what are you going to do when you're done? And, you know, you're sitting there and you're like, I'm a young stud. I'm 27. I'm going to play till I'm 40 years old. I'm going to make $100 million and I'm going to go live on a deserted island. And as I got older, you know, the anxiety and the stress around that were, well, what if I'm done tomorrow? What am I going to do? You know, I've been a professional athlete, or I've been an athlete since I'm 12 years old. This is all I know. I'm going to have to go jump into a competitive business environment where I'm starting from the bottom. I don't know anything about business. I don't know anything about this. I knew what I didn't know. And there was always anxiety and there was always stress about it. So I got with my mentor. I got with some people around me. I have some really good people around me. That's what's kept me going this long. Some people that I trust. And me and my mentor, we said, okay, well, this is creating great anxiety for you. Let's map this out. Let's plan this out so that when you do go back to play, you are 100% all in on playing. You don't have this underlying underlying elephant in the room that, you know, you're worried about when you're going to be done. And so having the plan, being prepared, and then ultimately, you know, pulling off the plan and making the switch and deciding to retire, it was a long time coming. You know, if this happened 5 years ago, I would probably have been devastated. But, you know, I've been planning for the last 3 to 5 years, and it's great. It's a great feeling.
You know, you talk about, you know, kind of at the top, we were talking about Oakland, and you come in as an Oakland Raider, you leave as a Las Vegas Raider. And I was talking to Hunter Renfroe, gosh, a month or two ago when he signed his extension. And I said, you know, you're part of a very small group. I'm talking about Hunter, but you're in there as well, that you got to experience this team in Oakland and you got to experience the glitz and glam of Las Vegas.
Absolutely.
And I imagine that when, you know, this is probably a question I ask you in 10 years, but like, it's got to feel pretty cool that you were at such a interesting point in this team's history, and you got to enjoy the grit and the fantastic things that the Oakland fan base brought in. You know, they carried over to here, but you got to see both sides of the spectrum, which is pretty cool.
Oh man, that 1 year in Oakland playing up there, that was so awesome. I mean, just being in Oakland, being a Raider, playing in Oakland out at Metis County Stadium. You know, it was a dream, man. You know, I had made up my mind to come back. My agent had spoken to some teams at the Combine, and it always came back to the Raiders. It's the Raiders. It's the Raiders. It's the Raiders. To go back to Oakland, you know, it was just a dream to play up there. The last year in that stadium, we did training camp in Napa Valley, which is just it's
hard to beat. Yeah,
I mean that's amazing up there. So, you know, going to doing training camp in Napa to kicking ass in that old stadium. You know, I think Coach Gruden did such a good job of focusing on, like, hey, that stadium sucks, but that's our stadium. Mm-hmm. Those are our fans. And, you know, we had a crazy run that year. We played 7 games on the road, and we played in London. And that, you know, for my family, that was one of the most special games for me, having my whole family in London. But, you know, I think guys who came from Oakland to Vegas have an understanding of where this program came from. We came from Alameda, where the facility wasn't the best, and, you know, we didn't have all the 5-star amenities that a lot of these teams had, but I think what everybody did was, that was our facility. We're Oakland Raiders. We have that swagger. The city of Oakland is tough. It's grit. It's people who are lifelong Raider fans. And then to come to Las Vegas, it was amazing. You know, brand new facilities, brand new stadium, a lot of excitement, really kind of a cool thing. You know, I've sat around and watched, you know, other teams move into new stadiums, and other teams get new facilities, and other teams do all sorts of cool stuff. And to be a part of it, man, I'm really grateful. It was awesome. You
know, kind of looking back at your tenure in Silver and Black, I think one thing that really stood out to me when we found out you were coming in, I was thinking back, and it seemed like there was such an innate, you know, really kind of primal connection between you and this fan base, man. For what this fan base loved you. It felt like that love was very much a two-way street between you and them. I mean, it must be rewarding to look back on this chapter, your chapter as a Raider, and be like, man, me and the fans had something really, really special.
I mean, it was so worth it to come back. I mean, I was a nervous wreck coming back. I was old. I didn't know if I had it. And I think one thing about me and the Raiders fans have in common, we wear our heart on our sleeve. You know, we lay it all out there. When I got here, they did a really good job of just saying, hey, Richie, we know who you are. We trust who you are. Be the leader. Lead these men. And they left me alone. They let me lead the men. And it was awesome. The Raiders fans are awesome. They show up, Raider Nation. They're loud. They're proud. We're one and the same. We're hardworking, blue-collar people. Grab your lunch pail, go to work every day. And then on Sundays, it's all about the Raiders, man. I love the chants, Raiders, and, playing in Oakland Stadium. And it was awesome, man. That's why it just felt like home. It felt like when I got here, it felt like I should have been here the whole time, and then it just felt like home.
You wrote a really poignant, thought out letter that's on Raiders.com right now. I'd encourage all of you guys to go take a look at that and read it when time permits. But one thing that stood out to me, and I got to give you a little bit of a hard time. There's a line in there where you say, "Hey, I'm going to miss training camp. I love training camp." Does anyone actually love? Come on, I read that. I said, Richie, you had me there, but now you say, "Oh, I'm going to miss training camp."
Yeah, I know. I miss it. This is the time where you're just putting you're dotting the I's and crossing the T's on your off-season training program, and then this is your time to shine when you come in. Marv Levy has a great quote: when it's just getting hard for them, it's just right for us. And that's why I loved it, because guys didn't like training camp. They didn't want to come in. I looked at it as we're starting a new venture. We're starting the new season. These guys are going to see what great shape I'm in. We're going to run that conditioning test. I'm going to smoke everybody. We're going to put the pads on. Everybody's going to be nervous about pads. I'm just going to run through some people. And, that's the energy and the grit that I had. And you don't just wake up and be a badass. You got to walk it. You got to talk it. You got to live it. And that's why I just so look forward to training camp, coming in, grinding with the boys, spending the long hours together. I was always at my best when it was tough. So I love training camp. It's nice to sit back and not have to prepare for a training camp. But, that's the tip of the iceberg. That's the jumping off point. That's when you set the tempo. That's when you set your goals for the season. And then you just grind blindly. You just grind towards those goals. And, hopefully it translates to some W's on Sunday.
Well, hey, Richie, before we let you go, because I know you got a lot of stuff that you have to do this afternoon here in the facility, I wanted to ask you, what's next, right? You talked about getting the NBA, and we've talked about the plan a lot and kind of what that is going to look like for you. But, 12 months from now, what does this look like? Yeah,
the plan right now is I'm enrolled at school. I'll be on campus at Arizona State.
You're going to be on campus?
I'm going to be on campus.
You're going to be in lecture hall 118.
That's it, man. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I had to take some classes on campus in 2018 when I took the year off, and I was in a freshman writing class. I had to tidy up some things for the transfer, and they said my name, and 3 kids in the front almost broke their neck looking back like, is that really him? So the plan is to get in school, to give myself some rhythm, some routine, give myself some schedule, because my life for the last 26 years has been scheduled in 15-minute blocks. So I know I need the routine. I know I need that. So going back to school, staying in the gym, staying close to the gym in Exos, where I owe my entire career to Exos and Mark Verstegen. So staying in there, being healthy, playing a ton of golf. Really just this next 12 months is living life on my terms, at my pace, on my schedule. And then in 12 months, I'm open to anything. Continuing to work on the NBA, that's the core goal. But I'm open to coaching, mentoring, player development. I'll take on any role here with the Raiders to help this team win. Anything I need to do to help this team win, I'm going to continue mentoring the guys. I'm going to go downstairs and do some offensive line drills with the guys right now after the retirement. But, hopefully in 12 months, I can kind of come back in the fold with the organization and coach, help out. Those conversations haven't been had yet, but whatever I can do to help this team win. Well,
hey, man, congratulations, like I said, on an incredible career. It's been a lot of fun to watch the kind of final chapter over the past few seasons with you here in Silver and Black. Very well deserved. Go to enjoy your day. It's a great day for you, the family, the friends, and all that, and we'll catch up with you soon, all right?
Awesome, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.